Here's a three-stage system to call people out and progressively increase pressure while still remaining calm and respectable. So just to give you guys a better perspective on what I'm talking about, think of all the times you have a person in your life that does something that you don't like, and you let it bottle up inside you until you just can't take it anymore and you lash out on them completely. Maybe your friend always comes late to whatever you plan and you just don't know how to let them know. You're kind of hoping they're gonna get it, but then they never do. And after being late like 10 times in a row, you suddenly just let it all out. You tell them that's so fucking annoying. Stop doing that. Why can't you just come on time? And on the other hand, your friend's like, whoa, bro, chill. What's gotten into you? Because they didn't really think they were doing anything that bad to set you off. So in this video, I'm going to really talk about how do you not get into that situation? How do you prevent that? And the steps and measures we're going to take to not even let it escalate that much. So it's very simple. It's a three-stage system. So stage one, this is where you're gonna let them know that there's an issue, but you're not gonna blame them yet. You're gonna take all the blame. So what I mean by that is imagine you're living with your friend, maybe it's your roommate, and you come home once again and there's a bunch of dirty dishes laying around and you don't like that because maybe you want to bring a girl over and it's embarrassing because there's smelly dishes. So how do you apply level one there? Very easy. The next time you see your roommate, you tell him, hey, maybe I wasn't clear enough. Maybe I didn't communicate it properly that I really don't like when people leave their dishes around and then it's embarrassing for me when I come home, I bring someone with me and there's just food and dirty plates. So it's my bad. I'll take the hit for that. But now you know for next time. So this was just an example, but you can really see how I'm not blaming the other person because honestly, it isn't their fault. You might think, yeah, it's common sense. Don't leave dirty dishes around, for example. But for some people, it's not. And you have no right to blow up on them if you've never made the remark, if you never told them to not do that. Don't let them leave around dishes every single day, on, and then let it bottle up and just get way too pissed off at them. No, as soon as it happens. So you apply stage one as soon as it happens for the first time ever. Don't let it build up because it's a very light way to call someone out. And maybe it's an honest mistake. They didn't think it was an issue, so they thought they'll just clean up the dishes whenever they have time and it's whatever. But clearly it's a bigger deal to you, so you just got that across without sounding like a complete asshole. Now, let's say you did that and maybe in a couple days they did it again. Let's use a different example. But let's say you're at work, you have other coworkers, and you find that one of your coworkers always ends up shifting more work to your side. So you're starting to feel like you're the one doing most of the work. So stage two is it's both our fault. We take shared responsibility for this happening. So now it's not completely on you because in stage one, you've made it clear that you didn't communicate it properly. But stage two, now you're going to start shifting the blame on them 50-50. Half on you and half on them. That's still very fair. And for the example I'm using, it would sound something like, hey, I mentioned this earlier, but I'd prefer to stick to the tasks that I'm assigned at work. And also, I think it would be better if you stuck to your tasks. Now, I'm not saying we can't help each other out, but we are responsible for our own work. And in the case that we do want to shift over some tasks, we just got to make sure that it's balanced on both sides. And that's it. I've just increased the pressure on calling them out or my message without being rude about it, without being too confrontational, but now they're going to feel more weight of what I'm saying. Maybe they thought I was too chill in stage one, so they didn't take it that seriously and they thought they could push it further. And if we were to apply a previous example of this, it would look something like, hey man, I know I mentioned last time that I really don't appreciate dishes lying around. And I know I do my part so that whenever you come home, you don't see dirty dishes, but let's just make sure we both pull our own weight. So if you eat, you wash your dishes right away. And if I eat, I'll do them right away too. That way, we don't have a dirty sink and smelly dishes. And that's just going to raise the standard of our quality of living. So that's how stage 2 would look. Still very respectful, but you've just applied more pressure. Let's say, even after all that and you being respectful and everything, they're still not getting it. This is when we move to stage 3. And you don't want to have to go to stage 3. But if they're just not getting it, this is where you push the pedal to the floor. You're taking zero blame. It is not your fault at all. It is 100% on them. You've taken the necessary steps to outline what's acceptable, but they chose not to listen. So now, stage 3 is a lot more serious. You're basically saying, you fucked up. And the way you need to deliver it is you still have to remain respectful, but at the same time, you have to apply much more pressure, but you have to be very careful not to get emotional. Don't get too emotional and lose yourself. But you have to convey the discomfort you're feeling onto them. That's how you apply more pressure. So let's say it's the example of where a person's always late. So this is now the third time that they're late, maybe this week, maybe this month, whatever your timeline is. But this is the third time. You're no longer going to start with the nice, hey, maybe it's me, maybe we didn't communicate. None of that. You're going straight for the kill. I would start off with, what don't you get? I mean, this is the third time that this happened now. And I'm afraid that if this doesn't get fixed, we just can't move forward from here. So tell you what, you can tell me that it won't happen again. You can say any excuse you want, but the next time you know you're going to be late, just don't bother showing up. It's canceled. It's done. So with stage 3, you're always going to be applying a consequence after the fact. So now you've shifted the blame on them, because at the end of the day, it's fully their fault. Why are they doing that? And they know it. They feel the weight of it. But how do you not let yourself be a doormat? Because imagine you say it all seriously and you express your discomfort with them. And imagine you give them another chance and they still show up late after that. That's just disrespectful, but that also shows them that you don't respect yourself. And whatever you say doesn't hold that much weight because you're willing to let it slide. So the way you don't let it slide is when it's the third stage, it's always followed by an immediate consequence. So that way there's no surprises. So in the example, if the person's going to come late, just tell them, if you know you'll be late, don't come. I don't care if you're 1 minute late. Just don't come. There is no point. And if you do end up showing up late, well, you will not be welcome. I'm just telling you this right now, not because I don't want you to show up or I don't want you there. I have standards and I respect your time, so I expect you to also respect mine. And if that's not going to happen, then there is no point in continuing this. So that's one example. Let's also go and imagine what the dirty dishes roommate situation would look like. You come home again for the third time that month, that week. The dishes are dirty around the kitchen, it smells bad, and you're tired of it. The next time you see your roommate, and depending on your level of relationship with him, I would say something like, what the fuck, man? That entry immediately sets the tone for the conversation. You're now serious. You're not trying to insult him, you're just serious now. And maybe that's the only language that he responds to. And not only that, as soon as you say those words and you set the tone, he's going to know what you're talking about. He's not going to have to guess, oh, what's wrong? Even if he says that, he is going to know he fucked up. And he could have so many different reactions. He could say, oh shit, my bad, bro. Let me go do it right now. I can't believe, I can't believe I didn't do it. I forgot. Or, come on, bro, it's not a big deal. It doesn't matter the response. The point is, it happened, regardless of the reason. And because it happened, there will be a consequence. So remember, you remain calm. You don't have to be emotional, but you will call them out. What the fuck, man? We've had this conversation multiple times, and it seems you can't pull your own weight. So you know what? Sure, you can give me your excuse right now, but regardless of that, the next time this happens, and here we can insert any consequence that you think is just based on the situation. It cannot be something light. You can't just say, well, next time I catch you leaving dishes around, you're going to have to do them right away. That's bullshit. So, depending on how important it is also to me, I could go as far as saying, the next time the dishes are out, you're going to be looking for a new place to live, or you're going to be looking for a new roommate. Maybe it's too far. Maybe that's not that big of a deal to you. So you'd say something like, all right, you leave them out next time. You're going to do all the dishes for the entire month, both mine and yours. How about that? Shake on it. It's nothing crazy. You're not going to kill the guy, but it is a huge inconvenience. So he's likely not going to want that to happen. So agree on the consequence. And now, this is the important part. This is a really, really, really important part. Let's say stage 3 passes. He passes stage 3, meaning he fucked up again. You absolutely have to follow through on the consequence. Do not let it slide. Because at that point, it's such a critical point that's going to show and reveal your entire character. I mean, think about it. With just that one example and the fact that you're going to follow through on the consequence, that person knows you're not fucking around. They know you're not a doormat. So next time you have any other requests, maybe it's being late, maybe it's cleaning the house, maybe it's the dishes, they will take your first warning. They're going to listen to you after stage 1. So you must follow through on the consequence. And it may be hard to do so. Maybe you don't want to. Maybe at that point you think it's too extreme. But now that you've said it, you have to follow through with it. So these are the 3 stages. Stage 1, it's my responsibility for communicating it. Stage 2, it's our responsibility. And stage 3, it's your responsibility. That's it. Now, here are also some things to watch out for. First off, don't just do this for every single little thing. You have to weigh it out. If it's not a big deal to you that they're doing something, but it's a light inconvenience, whatever, maybe stage 1 is enough. Maybe you don't need to go that much further. Maybe you don't even need to mention it. It's such a small thing. You only do this 3-stage system if it's something that actually bugs you. We all have our things. Maybe it's the fact that you always want the house clean. Maybe you don't want any coworker shifting the workload onto you. Whatever it is, that's the only time you need to apply it. If it's not a big deal, leave it. Don't be that annoying person that keeps calling people out for every little thing they do. This is called having standards. Some things that are standard in your life that cannot be crossed, that's where you apply it. Now, another thing is, when should you apply this? If the person did something you don't like 10 times and you said nothing, do you jump straight to level 3 or do you start with level 1? You always start with level 1. Here's why. That person that's offending you or that's pissing you off doesn't actually always know that you don't like it because you never said anything about it. So how is it fair on them that you bottle it up and you blow up on them after they do it 10 times? You go straight for stage 3. If you let them do the wrong thing 5 times, that's on you. You let it slide 5 times. So how soon can you implement this? As soon as it happens. Immediately. They do something that you really don't like. The first time they do it, that's when you start stage 1. Just do it right away. Because that way, it's going to limit the amount of times this is going to happen. So remember, if you didn't catch it right away, it doesn't matter. If you want to be a reasonable person, you always start with stage 1, no matter how many times you've been told. Now let's go a little bit further. What if there's more than one person involved? What if, let's now imagine there's 3 of you roommates, and the 2 of you don't like the dishes being left out by the 3rd guy. And by the way, this can be applicable to any situation with multiple people. Let's say your roommate comes to you and he says, bro, I already told this guy like 3 times to stop leaving the dishes out. What do you do in that situation? Do you start with level 2? Do you start with level 3 or level 1? Here's what you need to assess. First of all, understand the level of communication skills that your friend has. Because very likely they're not following a 3-stage system. They're likely just saying the same thing every single time. So once the matter falls into your hands and your friend says, bro, I told him 3 times and it's not working. No problem. Leave it to me, I'll deal with it. And then you go and you start with stage 1. Even if your friend tells you, no, but I already told him that. Why are you going so easy on him? No, no, no. Now that it's in your hands, you will do it your way, which is the three-stage system. Let's just say, and this is very rare, the other person also does the three-stage system, and you guys are very good at it. You've mastered it. Then your friend can come up to you and say, hey, I don't have time right now, but I've given this guy stage 1 and stage 2. Can you deliver the stage 3? And if you're very attuned to how this works, then yes, it's going to work. Only in that case, you would actually start with a different stage. And you might think, well, what kind of scenario is this going to happen in? Well, funny enough, this actually happened to me and my brother when we were running our business. Whenever we would have to reprimand or call out employees for doing the wrong thing or those repeat offenders, we were so attuned to this method of delivery, to this system, that let's say one of my employees shows up late, and I don't know if this was the first time or the third time, I don't manage them directly. Maybe it's my brother who deals with them. He would just tell me, oh, this guy needs a stage 2. This isn't the first time. No problem, I'll sit him down. I'll deliver stage 2. Hey, I'm pretty sure you've had this conversation with my brother earlier, and I'm sure he was clear with his intentions and the time you should be arriving. But let's just make sure that we both know that we start at this time. I'll be here, but that also means you gotta be here. Otherwise, how we're gonna work together? I'll do my job. I wanna make sure you're on time for your job. Something like that. Maybe you're running a business, you have a business partner, and you guys use the same method of conversation with your employees. Then in that case, yeah, you don't have to start at stage 1 every time, because what's gonna happen is it's gonna be the mom and dad scenario where, hey mom, can I have this candy? Okay. Hey dad, can I have this candy? Sure. And they're gonna keep going back and forth, because if those two people, like the parents, don't communicate, it's like it's happening with a new instance every time with a different parent. So they're basically getting double the benefit. And we don't need that. And I'm gonna give you guys one final example where I really learned this and mastered this system and how it worked very effectively.